Hey, you're listening to the Riverdale podcast. This is episode number 104. My name is Jonathan. Welcome to lovely Riverdale, USA. This is a weekly Archie Comics fan podcast. We update every Saturday morning, and every week we break things down into 4 categories. The first category is the book of the week. That's the comic book I read this week. Sometimes it's a new comic book, sometimes it's an old comic book, but it's always an Archie comic book. We move then to the news of the week. That's what happened in the world of Archie in the week since our last podcast. Then on to new releases. That's what came out this past Wednesday. Will be coming up this coming Wednesday from Archie. We're going to wrap up this week talking about iTunes reviews. Got a new, or rather an old, new, a recent iTunes review. We're going to talk about that. So that's what the show looks like this week. I'm excited to get into it. Let's get on to the book of the week. This week's book of the week is Life with Archie, number 34. This is the continuing adventures of the alternate futures of Archie's life with Veronica and Archie's life with Betty. This has been a long-standing favorite of mine. Hands down, month to month, great writing, great art, and fun stories, and really stories that are really reverent to the characters. I've been having a blast with this series from beginning until now, and unfortunately, this is sort of the issue where things hit a wall for me due to the publishing schedule. I don't know if this book came in late. I don't know whether there's it does publish 10 times a year and not 12 times a year, so there are going to be gaps in which we're waiting for issues to show up. But it seemed like we've been waiting a while for this one. Issue 33 came out in early December, I believe. So we've been waiting until this week to get this issue. And unfortunately, with the storyline being as it is, we're still in the middle of everything. This is the 4th part of each storyline. Of course, the Archie and Veronica storyline in the front half of the book, the Archie and Betty storyline in the back half of the book. We're at the 4th part of each of those storylines, and I believe they pulled together 6 parts, 6 issues worth of material for each trade. So I don't think we're even ready to wrap up these storylines yet. And unfortunately, with the amount of actual real life time that's been going on that we've been reading them, not necessarily the page count or the content of the story, the delay of this book has dragged things a little bit for me. I hope that you guys are enjoying it just as much. But over on the the Archie and Veronica side of the book, Veronica is still dealing with her court case. There seem to be some good breakthroughs on that. Everyone's sort of losing their patience with Reggie and Betty's reality show. Kevin's husband, Clay, is dealing with a mysterious patient. So there's a lot of storylines that have been going on. As I said, not necessarily a long time in terms of page count and storyline, but a long time in terms of actual months. Actually, I think we're leaning on like 6 months on some of these stories. So I'm excited to get some resolution. Hopefully we'll get, the next couple issues in quick succession. We'll wrap up these storylines and we'll jump into something bigger. Because when we get to the end of this story, this half of the book, the Archie and Veronica half, we have Sam Hill back. Sam Hill, who I was thrilled to see back in September, come in on issue 31, I believe. And it's great to see him on the case. Unfortunately, I am losing patience. I want him to crack this case. I will be really excited when he does so. over on the Archie and Betty half of things, this is the storyline that I need some closure on, and it looks like we're wrapping things up in this issue, and that hopefully we'll have a good launching point next issue for the next chapter of Archie and Betty. Betty has, of course, taken on the responsibilities of the assistant principal and has, for many, many issues now, been neglecting Archie. Archie is becoming more and more upset about this, angry about this. This rift between them is sort of being compounded by the fact that Archie's hanging out with Bella Beasley, which is not good news. It's a big dramatic moment in here. And, of course, in this half of the book, Midge is pregnant with Jughead's baby. And towards the end of this issue, it looks like we are headed to the hospital, headed to the delivery room to see that baby. So, of course, as I said at the top, great writing by Paul Copperberg, month in and month out. You've got Fernando Ruiz pencils. You've got Tim and Pat Kennedy pencils. You've got great inks. You've got great colors. Just a quality magazine, a great price point at $3.99 for these stories. But I am tired. I've waited a long time to find out what's going on in these storylines, and I am super, super psyched for them to wrap up and move on. So, unfortunately, I hate to be a downer, but I will be twice as excited for Life with Archie number 35 when that comes around next month. So, until then, that is our book of the week, Life with Archie number 34. All right, in Archie news this week, over at Comics Alliance, Archie announced the After the Credits month. This is going to take some explaining. Hopefully I can explain it properly. In the Archie action books, those are the ones edited by Paul Kaminsky, Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic Universe, and Mega Man. For the month of May, there are going to be special bonus scenes, not unlike post-credit sequences in movies, most notably the Marvel movies. These are going to be post-credit sequences within the books. And these are going to vary depending on the variant covers. So not only are they going to have variant covers, they're going to have variant contents insofar as these short bits in the back of the book. I hope that makes sense. I hope that I have interpreted the information correctly. But that's going to take place in Sonic the Hedgehog number 259, Sonic Universe number 62, and Mega Man number 36. It's an interesting concept. We'll see how it shakes out. I am hoping that there are just 2 variant covers for each issue. I wouldn't want folks to have to run around too much to find the story pieces that they're looking for. But an interesting concept. I've never heard of comics doing not just variant covers, but variant interiors. But it's interesting nonetheless, and we'll wait and see what happens with that. Also this week, Archie released their solicitations for May. We've got those posted over at RiverdalePodcast.com. You can head over there and check those out. Of course, the variant covers for Afterlife with Archie number 7 that we talked about last week are over there. Archie number 256 is a variant cover by Ramon Perez, coming back to do another great variant cover. We've got another in the series of comic spectaculars. Those are those just a little bigger than digest-sized mass market kind of paperbacks. This one is Summer Days. That looks cool. Archie's Funhouse gets the double digest treatment with number 6 coming up in May, and a great Giselle cover on that one. Also of note is Kevin Keller, number 14. This is the storyline that introduces Kevin Keller's superhero alter ego, the Equalizer. And there's a great Phil Jimenez cover that's a play on Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns. That looks really rad. And of course, we've got the Mega Man X storylines going on in Mega Man that month. Lots of cool stuff. Head over to RiverdalePodcast.com. You'll find the link there for the Comics Alliance article about the After the Credits month in the Archie action books. You'll also find a link to all of those May solicitations coming from Archie. All right, new releases. New releases for this past Wednesday, February the 26th, are as follows. Betty and Veronica Double Digest number 221 for $3.99. Jughead Double Digest number 200 for $5.99. Jughead Double Digest gets the Double Digest treatment in this issue, the final issue of the regular Jughead Double Digest. Next month, we start up with the Archie and Jughead Digest. So get it while you can. Final issue of Jughead Double Digest is a double digest. Also, this past Wednesday, the 26th, of course, we got Life with Archie number 34, our book of the week, for $3.99, and Sonic Super Special number 10 for $9.99. I took a look at this at the shop. This has a brand new story in it. Generally, this is a fully reprinted book, so it's rad to see an original story in there. Coming up next week, March the 5th, this coming Wednesday, we're going to get Afterlife with Archie number 4. Awesome. We'll probably be discussing that next week. You might want to be caught up so you don't get spoiled, I guess. Afterlife with Archie number 4 next week for $2.99. Archie Double Digest number 249 for $3.99. I haven't even looked to see what's coming up for Archie Double Digest number 250. Just occurred to me now, that's a milestone coming up next month. Also, next week, on the 5th, this coming Wednesday, Mega Man number 34 for $2.99. Also, Sonic Supersized Digest number 6 for $6.99. This is the Sonic Digest. It's getting the double digest treatment this month. I guess they're dubbing that the Supersized Digest, which is rad. So $6.99. I assume we're going to get a big page count on that. Should be worth your bucks for $6.99. Also next week, World of Archie number 37. World of Archie Double Digest number 37 for $3.99. And we get the second volume of the Sonic Mega Man Worlds Collide storyline for $11.99. Over at the digital store, digital.archiecomics.com, on the Archie Comics app, through Comixology, wherever you get your digital comics. We've got Betty and Veronica Mall Princesses. This is a 100-page digital exclusive for $3.99. So those are your new releases for this past Wednesday, the 26th, this coming Wednesday, the 5th, and your digital releases of the week from Archie. Finally, this week, I wanted to highlight an iTunes review that came in. I hadn't checked on iTunes reviews in a long time, and then I realized I had one sitting here for more than a month. This one came in from Murray Spazaroo. Spazaroo is active on the Archie boards, archiefans.com. It was nice enough to give me a 5-star review and wrote the following. Jonathan is the best. Wow. His love for Archie comics comes through loud and clear on this podcast. I love the way his show is broken down into the book of the week, which can be classic or current, and then new releases, news, etc. It flows great from start to finish, and Jonathan's observations about the small things that we all love about Archie are fun and insightful. Every Saturday morning, the very first thing I do online is grab the Riverdale podcast. It gets my weekend started on the right foot and helps me forget about my crappy job. Anyway, anyone with even a passing interest in Archie should check this out. With Jonathan's help, your passing interest will evolve into a full-blown obsession very quickly. Mine did. So thank you very much, Murray. That's awesome. Anytime that anyone writes a review for the show, it bumps us up in the search engine within iTunes. So the more reviews the show gets, the more visible it is to everyone. So the more reviews that come in, the more likely someone searching for Archie Comics content or comic book content in general on iTunes, the more likely they are to stumble upon the show. So thanks again, Mary. And I would encourage all of you, it would be a real thrill for me to have a few more of these reviews come in. So if you want to head over to iTunes, search Riverdale Podcast, and give me a glowing review, I would surely appreciate it. As I just said, a great way to help out the show is to write an iTunes review. Another great way to help out the show is simply to listen every week, download every week, tell your friends about the show, and spread the word. That is super, super appreciated. If you would like to help further, you can head over to RiverdalePodcast.com and click that link for TIFA, Things from Another World. This is a huge online comic book shop that is TIFAW, TFAW.com. Things from Another World. They've got everything you want, all the Archie comics you want, all the comics you want, DC, Marvel, Image, Dark Horse, all at great discounts. Anything you can get through your comic shop, you can get through TIFA, Things from Another World. One thing I have spotlighted in the past, but I feel the need to sort of harp on, are those great best of collections that were put out through IDW the last few years. Things from Another World has the majority of them. They've got the Dan DeCarlo best of. That's at 20% off for just $19.99. These are great hardcover collections of some of the best stories by particular artists from the history of Archie Comics. They've got a bunch of Dan DeCarlo editions, Harry Lucy, Sam Schwartz, Stan Goldberg, all at between 20 and 40% off. These are books that are quickly going out of print. Quantities are low. I feel like these are must-haves for your collection. And TIFA, Things from Another World, TFAW.com, has got all the ones you could ever need. So if you want to help out the show, get yourself some great books, Archie books, IDW books, Dark Horse books, Marvel, DC, the whole myriad of comics. Head over to RiverdalePodcast.com, click that link for Things from Another World. When you go through that link, a percentage of whatever you spend will be sent right back to the show to help us out. So, thanks for considering that. On the way out, I want to remind everyone to head over to RiverdalePodcast.com. There you will see the great Fernando Ruiz cover for our Book of the Week, Life with Archie, number 34. You'll also find links there to the news stories we discussed earlier in the show. You'll find links there to like the show on Facebook, follow the show on Twitter, send us an email at riverdalepodcast@yahoo.com with any thoughts, any questions, any feedback about the show at all. Send that right over to riverdalepodcast@yahoo.com. We also have a voicemail you can call in and leave a voicemail at 573-427-2443. That's 573-4-ARCHIE. The Riverdale podcast is syndicated through First Comics News. You can head over to firstcomicsnews.com for reviews and podcasts and all sorts of up-to-the-minute news from the world of comics. I guess that's going to do it for this week. Thanks so much for listening. Again, my name is Jonathan, and I'll see you again next week here in lovely Riverdale, USA.